So it's been a while since we've talked, and anything happened? It's pretty boring couple weeks. Uh a lot happened, unfortunately.
Pretty boring.
The
It's
last time
cool.
we talked was, I believe, right before the Chicago game.
I think it was the 11th, 10th or 11th.
The 10th, yeah, probably. Okay, so at the time they were competing for a playoff spot with Florida and the Islanders, and it did not look good. But then all of a sudden, Florida and the Islanders lost, and all the Penguins had to do was win at home against Chicago, who was just coming back from, I believe, a back-to-back, and not only that, but a back-to-back in Canada. So they had to go through customs and all that stuff. They come in late, and Chicago is at the bottom, possibly tanking for the number one pick for Bedard. So everything set up. Okay, this is going to be an easy win. Penguins are going in the playoffs. Let's go. And they lose 5-2, and just wow.
Yeah,
just just wow.
it was
Unbelievable.
pretty bad. I didn't think we were gonna go over that. I didn't bring my notes out. Uh, it was a really so you thought going into game 81 against Chicago that we were gonna see the same team that we saw play against Detroit and Minnesota. Wow, I sounded like a Minnesotan.
Minnesota, yeah.
Minnesota. And you thought, okay, they're fighting for their lives. The first period was dull. It was boring. There was no flow. It was just that, right? Wasn't into it. However, I did make note that Gino was really good on the dot, which is a very important factor for me. But did we? No, I thought we gave up another hat trick. It was brutal. I guess the only thing that I liked about that game is that my boy Heinen got a goal. But like, I think Sydney had like 8 shots on goal, 3 giveaways, or turnovers, which isn't great, but 60% on the dot. Like, he came to play, but it was just there's no flow. This is what we've talked about all season, how this team lacked chemistry, and you'll have some good nights that were good and we played well and everything worked, but without chemistry, when you're not on your game, chemistry can help save you a little bit because it's like ebb and flow. But this team was just like, oh my god, like, do they want it? Do they want it? Because I don't think they do. They had 30 errors, Joe, in that game.
My goodness. I think they were very tight. They were just very
not into it.
I don't want to say not into it, just nervous. Like instead of trying to win, they were kind of playing not to lose, but at no point did they have a lead. So I don't know what the hell they were thinking. I don't know what I don't know what was going on. I don't care what the situation, given the circumstances, given what Chicago is, and given what I mean, it seemed like a lot of those Chicago players were just like bums. We're just like, AHL, caliber players. And
I pretty well, except for I can never say his name. I'm friends with his brother, and I can never say his name. Athanasiou. I was actually campaigning to get him in Pittsburgh to play on Sydney's wing. He's phenomenally fast. He's got good hands. He's smart. So I kind of enjoyed him scoring on us. Because me and his brother were like, we got to get him on Pittsburgh, and I'm like, yeah, actually, I'd love that. But he ended up going, I think, to LA and then to Chicago, and I'm just like, I don't know, from Detroit. Or wait, yeah. Anyways, yeah. So we weren't actually eliminated until the next day, right? We were eliminated. We played a game that didn't matter. We were already eliminated.
It was already eliminated. It was either they were officially eliminated either that night or the day. I think it was the day after. Yeah. Because we had to depend on Montreal beating the Islanders, and that did not happen.
No, it did not happen.
That did not happen. And then the last game was just a total meaningless game against Columbus, and that was the first meaningless game they've played in like 20 years. And it's just sad. That's it. That's the end of the playoff streak.
You know what? They kind of did it to themselves. I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, it's frustrating because, you know, they didn't correct the issues they had. Now, a lot of people are speaking about how great Sidney and Gino and Letang were. And sure, okay. I don't agree though. Like, there's so many games where Sidney just didn't show up. I know Letang had a rough season, so it's really hard for me to, talk about his play. He did great considering. I can't get on him. Gino, we've talked about this. Gino is a 25% player most of the time. He doesn't give it all. So, like, and I know this doesn't get me many friends in Pittsburgh, but it's frustrating to me because I watch these two players and I know what they're capable of, and they don't pull it out. Then the fan base goes on like this tangent about players like Carter or Dumoulin. And I mean, both of those players, Dumoulin had a career high season. This is career best for points this season. He made the most points. I think it was 23 or 24, which is his career best, which is, how is that bad? How's that bad?
The experts say that it was all because of the bottom six and Dumoulin. There were not the entire season, but a part of the season they said he was poor defensively.
No, he got better and better as the season went on, but he had a career high with 25 points. His last best season was in 18-19, and he had 23 points. So he had 2 more points this season. And when we go over like the errors and stuff, he's mid to bottom on the list. Another thing that really irked me too was the hate on Carter. Now, I'm not a Carter fan. You know it. Everyone knows it. I still have a bad taste from 2014. But Carter's role is detrimental on this team. He is your face-off specialist. He's the one you put in that you can is going to win this face-off when it counts, right? That is important. I can't come away from that because I value face-off wins. Like, I value starting the play, like, taking control right from the dot. So, it was just messy. It was so messy, like listening to this, that, and the other, and then complaining about this person and that person. Like, Kapanen left, and he ended up playing really well wherever he went. Where did he go?
Kapanen went to St. Louis.
Yeah, he was killing it in St. Louis
and was scoring goals like crazy.
Yeah. So, like, what does that tell us? There is a connection. There is a chemistry. This is a chemistry problem within the players, within the coaching staff. Like, we could blame Hextall and Burke, but they're not on the ice. They don't have nothing to do with it. And you're not going to play like crap because you don't like your GM. You're not. These players they want to win, right? They just did not have what was that word we said before? An image, like a
accountability?
No, they didn't have like that personality. They weren't. It was like a motley crew of just nothing that worked. Like, honestly, my favorite line this season was Raquel, Zucker, and Gino.
Malkin, yeah.
Yeah, that was my favorite line. I think Sullivan really should have played around with that more, the lineup, because he could have made 4 good lines rather than just 2 good lines and 2 crap lines. He could have made, 2 strong lines and 2 really weak lines. He could have had 4 evenly, moderately, like above average lines. But he doesn't want.
The big debate is how much of blame does Sullivan get?
All of
And
he gets just as much as the players.
it really, I agree. It really angers me when people say it's not his fault. It wasn't his fault. The players were bad. Like, bro,
no, you have to bring out your players, the best of your players.
And when players were playing poorly, he never took them out.
Nope.
Nothing ever changed. It was a country club atmosphere. They were all buddies, and we're all just gonna be buddies, and we're all just gonna play out there, and hey, we're all friends, and we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, so we're not gonna make any changes. And that's complete BS. You should prioritize winning.
The only one that made sense was Kapanen. You're welcome. Was benching him, and you even heard in the interview after Sullivan didn't really want to do it. He's like, it's anyways, yeah. Country club, you hit the nail. It's discomfort. It's like a it's so
way too comfortable. Way too comfortable.
Yeah. And then you see that urgency build up when it's like almost too late. And that's not, to me, like, the reason I blame Sullivan, blame Sullivan for more than one reason. He sucked at making his lineup, like doing his lineup. He chose feelings over functionality. And also he did not elicit the best out of his player. You know, he just kind of was there. And I mean, 6 first round exits, 6, right? Since the 2 cups, or 5 out 5.
It was 5 first round exits, and then this year they didn't even make the playoffs. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's supposed to be a results based thing, and the results aren't there, and yet he still stays, and apparently he's untouchable because he's a Boston guy, and the ownership is Boston people, and so they love their Boston people. Like, what the hell is going on here?
Boston has also been known as the city of champions. Basketball, baseball, hockey, football. Well, New England is kind of right. New England Patriots.
New England is considered Boston, even though the stadium is like 30 miles south of.
Fair enough. You think that they'd want that mentality here too, and I mean, I think at the end of the day, you know, I don't see that it's going to be tough because we don't have the cap space to build some good stuff. We're kind of stuck with these players that, you know, Sullivan can't seem to get the best out of. And I definitely, I mean, I know what could happen. I don't know. I'm getting upset.
Well, the ownership has been accused of really not being involved and not giving a crap, that because they have other teams that they didn't even give a crap that, you know, they have the Penguins. Well, they sure noticed when they didn't make the playoffs, because they fired Sullivan, they fired Hextall and whatever his Burke and whoever the assistant was. They fired him the next day.
Curly, Larry, and Mo.
Curly, Larry,
fired the day after the Seattle expansion draft. He should have been out.
It was, you know, I on my vacation, I also spent a day in Seattle, and the town has Kraken fever. It is awesome. It is awesome to see all these fans in their Kraken jerseys and their gear, and they're so, you know, embracing the team. You love to see that, but I saw so many McCann jerseys, so many Tanev jerseys.
Make me sad. And you got, who else is there? You got Sprong there.
Sprong, yeah.
Is Schultz there? I don't even know.
I don't think so. It's just so infuriating that he gave up McCann and Tanev in that. My God.
Justin Schultz is there.
Justin Schultz is there too. Wow.
Tanev, Jamie Alexiak, and Daniel Sprong. Yeah. So they got 5 of our players.
Wow. Oh yeah, Jamie Alexiak too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he Big Rig? Was that his?
Yeah, Big
Rig. Yeah. Oh, so it was just so frustrating. And also, I was just really, could have maybe gone to the game, but didn't work out.
I just swore. You didn't hear it?
I did not.
Where
That's
did
okay.
you swore?
You know what? It's Hextall. We did.
Okay.
It's perfectly fine to swear. Um. So
Panthers.
yeah,
Panthers won.
Panthers won. Oh, well, there you go. Panthers are still alive. Nice. So now we try to figure out, what do we do?
Well, I know what we do, but I don't think the Pens are willing to do it. And honestly,
Okay, what would you do?
I mean, hire someone that knows what they're doing, that isn't afraid to tell players, no, you cannot have that. This is what we're gonna do. You know, someone that maybe resembles me or is me. Listen, I'm not the type of person to be like, oh, I'm always right. Da, 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 da. I actually like being wrong because that's when you learn, is when you're wrong. I have not been wrong about this team since 2015 when they came into my life. I have not. I've called it. You even have the receipt. It's like, I know this team and I studied it so hard and I know it works and I know it doesn't work. And I'm not afraid to like assert my dominance, you know, like Sullivan, love ya, but you know, you're too much of a pussycat to be in that position. I mean, bring in someone. I mean, just I don't know.
So let's say you are named GM. What
Coach,
would you do?
I hire a really good assistant GM because I don't
Okay.
know
Yeah.
prospects and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm a coach. Like I was a GM once. I killed it at our draft day. Like absolutely killed it. And all the guys in the room were shocked. They're like, "How is she? She's picking all these players. Like, who are you?" I just did my homework then. I'm a coach. I'm hands on. I need to be, you know, like you know me. I like to make lineups. I like to play with stuff like that. I belong on the ice. I always bring out the best in my coach, my players, and I'm also, you know, a mentality coach. Like I focus on the players' mentality on and off the ice.
Sounds like instead of replacing Hextall, you should replace Sullivan.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
but the question, well, here there are so many things that they can't do because of the lovely no movement clause, no trademan clause, or whatever you want to call it. So they're stuck with Carter, they're stuck with Petrie. They can't trade Gansel, Rust, or Raquel. So they're gone. But here is who might be gone. Here's who is an unrestricted free agent.
who?
I'll list the unrestricted free agents: Zucker, Heinen, Dumoulin, Archibald, Kulikov, Jari, and Benino.
Okay. Bye Benino. Bye Kulikov. Bye Zucker. I mean,
you don't want to bring back Zucker? He was one of the few people that had energy on that team.
Yeah, see, that's tough though. It's really tough because the only way I'd bring back Zucker is if I kept him with Raquel and Gino. I like that line. I like that functionality. But then I'm starting to think, what's the problem here? Is Gino the problem? You know, like for the fluidity, I'll tell you this much. Give me this roster as is right now, as is, no changes, and I'll take them to the Stanley Cup final. Because you know what? It's there. The pieces are there. It's just not organized properly. You know, Rust on the top line doesn't make sense. Bring up, what's his name? What's that one I liked a lot? The young one.
O'Connor, Heinen.
No, Heinen's not young.
Nylander.
Yeah. Yes. There it is. Bring up. I want a veteran. I want a goal scorer with speed, and I want a kid on each line.
I want kids. I want young people. I'm tired of these old people.
Yeah.
Oh, how did he that? Hextall did a lot of things, but making this an old team older was idiotic.
The only time an older team is valuable is in the playoffs because they have the experience. So I'm not gonna harp down on the older teams right now, but we do need to we need to bring in at least 4 to 5 players that are young, that are like 21 to 26 in there. But I'm telling you, it could be done. Like, we watched Casey DeSmith get better and better the more he played. I'm not sold on Jari's health. I think Jari's kind of
Get him out of there. Get him out of there. I'm tired of him.
I'm not confident with his health. I know he played injured since game 1, and every time he came back, he re-aggravated it, and they mixed it. Oh, is this hurt? Down here hurt? It was the same injury. I'm calling BS. Funny story, actually. I was working on a hockey team. Okay, this was a couple of years ago, and I was the assistant coach plus the medical trainer, and the head coach, who was a complete dink, he tells me that the goalie is going to fake injuries throughout the game, and I want you to take your time going over to see him, get down, take your time to give them a rest, right? I don't know where this came from, but I thought it was ridiculous. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, this is stupid. Don't teach kids this.
So basically, like, give your team extra timeouts.
Yeah, I don't like cheating. You know what I mean? I felt like
it's
it was cheating.
It's not cheating. It's damn near close.
Well, you know what I mean? It's taking advantage of a situation, of a system. But with Jari, I wanted, if he could have rested much longer, went back down if it's possible to WSB, whatever it is, recondition there. I just don't understand that, like, what happened there, because if he might not bounce back from this, and I mean that mental wise, like mentality wise, it's tough. Look at Murray. I know he's out right now with a concussion, but look at his performance. Like, sensational in the playoffs, and then he dipped off. You know what I mean? Goalies have this different. I don't know.
It wasn't this. It wasn't this just this year with Jari. It's been basically every year. It's always been something. He either gets hurt or mentally he doesn't have it. And you're right. His career is at a crossroads. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to assume the Penguins want nothing to do with him, and I'm going to assume some team will take a chance on him. I don't know if they'll take a chance as a starter or as a backup or what, but he needs to get off. He needs to get away from this team and clear his head and get a whole new change of scenery, because it's not working here.
No, it's not. And I'm hoping the feelings aspect doesn't come into play, because, emotions. Listen, this is a business. We've got 3 aging stars. Well, more than that, but 3 aging superstars. One of which I know would love to win a cup again, another cup. And we need to focus on that. So how do we, what do we do to bring out the best of each of our players? Right? We need a good coach. We need fresh eyes, fresh luck, someone that knows what they're doing, someone that has proven their worth based on experience. Okay, I'm dropping too much.
Okay, so here is who they could trade, because these are players that do not have no trade clauses. You just say yes or no whether you would want to trade them. Granlund.
Yes.
But who would want him, though? The only team that would want him is like a team like
Retire.
I mean, Granlund, they're stuck with Granlund for another 2 years. That sucks. Marcus Pettersson. I think you have to trade him, not because he's a good player, he's a good defenseman, but you have to trade to get something.
I don't know, man. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I mean, Pettersson. How old is he? I know this. I don't have my notes.
He's not that old.
Give me a second.
He is not that old. He is
I got it right here.
He is 26 years old.
Yeah, I keep him.
Okay.
I keep him.
Ruda. I'd trade him.
Yeah, I don't really like him too much.
I don't. Yeah, he didn't really. I mean, he was hurt, but still. P.O. Joseph.
I keep him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needs a little better handling. He is a firecracker. He seemingly got kind of worse as the season went on, but I think that has a lot to do with the lack of chemistry and finding the right people. You know what I mean? For him to play with, I think that he has a boatload of potential, and under the right coach, I think, or right, guidance, I think he could be he could be a good hockey player. He is a good hockey player. I think he could be a great hockey player. I'd hold on to him for now, because I do like his energy, and yeah, I'm gonna stick with that.
And I already know the answer to this, but Casey DeSmith, you probably want to keep him, right?
I love Casey. Yeah,
I mean, that's the big question: is what are they gonna? Okay, if the answer isn't Jari, they need to find a dang good goaltender.
Casey got better every single time he played. Every single time.
But he's not a number one.
I wouldn't put him as a number one, but I take him over Jari because of just how he trended. You got to remember too, our players are to protect our goalie. Our goalie is to protect our net, right? And we didn't have the greatest players system in front of our goalie, so it's not always Casey's fault. I found Jari to be a lot more sloppy and unreliable. Yeah. Granted, Casey let in some like goals, and you're like, bro, where were you looking? Happened. But I don't know, and I just love Casey.
But the thing with this team is you don't need a good goaltender. You need an exceptional goaltender, and you need an exceptional goaltender to put up with the odd man breaks, the 2-on-1s, the breakaways, because there's always a defensive breakdown because they're always playing aggressively offensively, and it always leads to an on-man break. So you can't just be a good player, a good goaltender that has like a good defensive system. That's not this team. You need that's why Marc-Andre Fleury was good for all those years, because he stopped.
I like Casey as a backup. I think he's a good fit. He comes through, and I think he can still get better. Who else you got?
That's and then the other two were Chad Ruedel and Friedman. I mean, who's
over Ruedel. I would keep Friedman over Ruedel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay. Friedman's kind of got that rock star kind of vibe when he plays. I like the energy. A little sloppy, but that could be tightened up. Ruedel is just.
He just really angers the other team, and it's funny. It's funny. He's such a pest, and it's awesome.
0.0.
So what type of player do you want them to bring in? I want some size on this team, and I want some toughness.
Yeah, we need some grit. We need some size. We need speed, and we need youth.
Yeah.
Grit, size, speed, youth.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in that order. And we need someone with passion, that shows up ready to play and doesn't, when they lose, sit in the interview and say, well, we could have done this. This is what we did wrong. This is what I'm going to do better next time. Someone with, confidence and integrity and just like, like that player that's, you're like, this is okay. You know what? Listen to this guy, because we need that. We need that.
I want some emotion.
Thank you.
I want somebody when they lose to be angry.
Yes. Not be afraid to call out people.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
You have to, and there's a way to do it. You can be nice about it, but like accountability, Pittsburgh. We need you all to be accountable, and integrity would be nice too, but accountability is really important. And none of this, I don't want to hear, oh, we played desperate. I hate desperate. I literally makes me angry when someone says the word desperate. It's a negative term. It's negatively charged.
If you're playing desperate,
you just play slop, you're desperate.
Yeah. If you're playing desperate, that means you're not playing correctly.
Thank you.
It's that simple. So we'll see what happens.
Let me just go over the errors. You ready for that?
We will. Let's go. Let's do it.
All right. So I want you to guess how many total errors we had for 82 games total. So both turnovers and missed shots
Turnovers and missed shots
together.
over 82 games. I'm going to say 1,600.
1844.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we had 805 turnovers. I'm going to just go over a couple of them right now. Gino had 106. Letang had 83. Granted, Letang missed a good chunk of games. So
he was out a lot of games and he still almost.
Sydney had 66, which is ironic and funny. Rust 57, Gensel 50, Pedersen 43, Raquel 42, Dumoulin 40, Zuckers 37, Petrie 37, Carter and Joseph 33, Jari 29, Ruda 20, O'Connor 16, Heinen 12, Ruedel 10, Friedman 9, DeSmith 7, and Paling 5. Now, I left out the players I told you that weren't, whatever, call-ups and this and that, because it wasn't, but come on. Like, you're telling me there's your top 3 guns, big guns, and they're number 1, 2, and 3 on the list.
This is what we said back in July when they brought back Malkin and Letang, and we laughed like crazy. And that's when you predicted it's like they're not even going to make the playoffs, and you should play the lottery because you nailed that one. And we're not.
I should be an NHL coach.
You should be. You should be an NHL coach. And we're not saying they're bad players, but we're saying that they do things their own way and they're never going to change. Malkin is always going to have the lazy turnover, and then he's not even going to go back to try to defend or anything like that. He's just going to hope the goaltender stops it.
He's the best. He's the most incomplete, greatest player that ever played.
Yeah. There are times when he takes over a game, and there are times when he gives away a game.
More times than not. Yeah. Missed shots, we had 1,039. Raquel with 95, Gensel with 93, Sydney with 92. So there's 3 of the top, 2 lines. I think they were aligned. People wanted them to be aligned. No. Rust 85, Zucker 81, Gino 71, ironic. Letang 63, but again, that number would have been up. Pedersen 53, Petrie 47, Carter 41, Dumoulin 39, O'Connor and Paling 29, Joseph 28, Heinen 24, Ruda 23, Ruedel 22, and Friedman and Bluger with 13. So you're looking at, now granted, these players get more ice time, fair.
Yeah.
But you're looking at your top 3 lines are in the top of each of these things, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Mix it up. Mix these lines up a bit more. You're going to find more production. I need Raquel if he's coming back. I need Jake. I need Sydney. I need Rust. I need Zucker. I need Gino. I need Letang. I need Pedersen if he's coming back. I need all of them to focus on accuracy, shot accuracy all summer. No vacation for you. Back to work. Because,
Have you seen Edmonton's power play?
Edmonton's insane.
Edmonton's power play during the season was like 35% or something like that, which is filthy, disgusting, amazing, good. And in the playoffs, it's like 65% or something like that. And all they do is just shoot the damn puck.
Oh, Gino, you don't think we try to shoot the puck? Oh,
I'm so sick of this power play. And people said, it's what's his face? His fault. The assistant Reardon. It's his fault. He designed a poor power play. It's like no. That's on the players.
Yeah, that's on the players. They're not shooting. They did hot potato with the damn puck. Okay, well, there's not an open shooting line. Okay, you've got one player more than the other team. take the risk and fire it on. I don't care if
shoot it. It'll go somewhere, and
so
it'll probably be in your advantage. It's not simple. Like you said, you have the man advantage.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think the Penguins rely too much on their system and not enough on themselves. And it's like I've said this many times in my career that any player, you can slot a player anywhere. I mean, you watch Brent Burns, he's a defenseman. He went to forward and back to defenseman. All players can play every position. I don't care. Put Dino on Sydney's wing for a game. I don't care.
Yeah.
Or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Play around with it. Find what works, no matter what it takes, and you'd be surprised. You can't get comfortable. Once you get comfortable, you become desperate and you lose.
I'm just tired of the people that said it's not Sullivan's fault. What do you want him to do? Oh, he could have done a lot of things.
He didn't do nothing.
He had a bad year. He just had a bad year, and I hope the thinking was
a bad 6 years.
A bad 6 years.
One of those years, they didn't even make it to the first round because they were eliminated by Montreal in that exhibition, whatever, on Sydney's Tuesday, which I also called, and like.
There was no excuse for that. I know it was a weird time. I know it was the bubble and all that crap. I don't care. You're playing hockey. You're playing against an inferior team and you let them win. No, it was ridiculous. If let's say they beat Chicago and they make the playoffs, they probably would have played Boston and they probably would have got destroyed. I wonder if Hextall would have been fired. I wonder if they would have just said, oh, well, if it just a few bounces go this way or a few things change, let's just stay the course and not change anything. I'll bet that's what would have happened.
I hate excuse machine. I hate that. I hate, no, accountability. I screwed up. I should have done this. I should have done more of this. And this is where the problem is. If Hextall was still there, I mean, I'm surprised Sullivan's still there. I know you explained it, but it's like, the object of the NHL, of each team, is to win, right? Make lots of money and win Stanley Cup. That's the object. I think the Penguins forgot of that this year.
Yeah.
And then they started out good. The first, week or two of the season, they were good. They're like, it was exciting. And then it was just, and then not only that, we had Sidney and Gino for all 82 games.
Yeah. That's not going to happen again.
That never happened.
Yeah.
So I think the ownership does fall on both of them as well. Because, sure. I've seen someone say this was Sidney's best career season. I didn't even touch it. I wanted to touch it. I was like, you know what? Point production is important, yes, but this is a team sport. And if you're not contributing in every area, Sidney's a captain. He should be one-on-one with the players that aren't. He should be going
who else played the whole season? Gensel, Rust, Raquel, and Zucker almost played the entire season. So there's no excuses about, he didn't have his line mates or something like that. He had the people that he wanted. And you just talked about all the missed shots and the turnovers.
It's absolutely nuts. It's like, okay, it doesn't work. Try something else. I don't care. I don't care, Sydney, if you like playing with Jake and Russ. I don't want to see it again.
I'm tired of it.
Mix it up.
Didn't work. And that's the thing. It's the arrogance. They're so arrogant.
Yeah.
Goodness.
And they really shouldn't be because, they really shouldn't be.
I hope this is a humbling experience. I hope I hope they turn this into I just heard this today. There's no don't take advantage of a crisis or something like that. Don't let a good crisis go to waste. That's the thing. You have a crisis here. That means you have an opportunity to make real changes. And you know what? Whatever GM they get, I hope they tell Sullivan, hey, bro, start playing some young players. Yeah, the prospects in Wilkes-Barre, maybe they're not the greatest, but they are young and they are. Give them a try.
They might want Nylander might be phenomenal.
Yes, yes, he might be.
But we won't know that because we only get to see one shift with him.
Exactly.
You know, that one play with Sidney and Heinen, I've been drooling for it all season. I know Heinen's not the greatest player, but they complemented each other, and it showed in that play. I want to see it. I don't know if Heinen's going to be here. You know, I love him, but regardless, just I mean, oh.
So let's just talk about the rest of the playoffs. I'm liking Toronto.
I would love to see Toronto Edmonton final. I'd be okay with that.
That would be amazing.
I do. I want to see Burnsy win a cup. I mean, I feel like I robbed him of possibly winning one in 2015. I mean, I have nightmares over that. I would like to see the Bruins go only because they had such a dominant season. Leafs, of course, first and foremost. You know, I'd like to see Kraken do it because they're half of them are Pittsburgh Penguins. What else we got here?
There's the Stars in the Wild.
Fleury, but I don't really care about either of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. New York and New Jersey. I want to see New York go just because of the upgrades they had. And I know it's weird. Oh, Penguins fans. Whatever. I like good hockey. And they seem to be getting better and better. I mean, they're tied with New Jersey. I don't feel any ways for New Jersey. And then Winnipeg and Vegas. And I mean, Kessel's on Vegas. I'm so weird because like my allegiance goes to players that were on my team, you know, but ideally I'd like to see Toronto do it.
I am rooting like hell for Seattle, not only because of the ex-Penguins and not only because it's just great that a city is embracing a team, but what Makar did to McCann, man, what the heck? Hey, NHL, what the heck are you doing? You had that as a major penalty and then you bring it down to a minor and then you only give him a 1-game suspension. That was some dirty crap right there.
That's playoff hockey. They go,
but still.
It's different. He was fine. I mean, if he was hurt, there might have been a different outcome, but it's just playoff hockey. Like, if you want to talk about officiating, like the first game 1 of the Leafs Bolt was disgusting. Like, it was terrible. They called a goal on Tampa, and the puck didn't even cross the line, and we've seen so many angles of it. And it the Tampa won, I think 7-3, game 1, and it just messed things up. Like, Toronto started to come back, and I mean, in game 2, they won 7-2. So the Leafs, like, they're capable of. I think they close it out tomorrow, truthfully, in Tampa, or not tomorrow. Sorry, Friday. When do they play next?
I'm telling you what, they play again
tomorrow at home.
They have to play. Yeah, they play again tomorrow. Yeah, Toronto leads 3-1. You know what? You know who else is looking old? Maybe Tampa's time is over. They're looking kind of old, and I don't know.
Yeah, I'm over it. I'm over Tampa.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really.
And I used to coach Stamkos, but he was on the first team I ever coached, right? So it's like, yeah, usually I was young. He was young, obviously, a long time ago. But I would cheer for him. And right now I'm like, nah, screw you.
I'm sure back then he was like insanely good.
Oh my God.
I'm sure he was like, like skating circles around everyone.
Embarrassing,
yeah.
He could have been playing with like OHL kids. And I think it was a couple years before he would have like hit that age, junior hockey. But he would have dominated to that too. Watching him, you're just like, oh.
You knew. I'm sure you knew. Yeah. Yeah. I'm really. Yeah, I think it's Toronto's time. I think they got some grit. They got some hearts. When they're down, what were they down? Down by 3 or down by 4 or something like
yesterday or 2 days ago.
4-1 and they come back. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. It's been hard, like, to get into the playoffs because Pittsburgh's not in it.
Yeah.
I would usually watch all the games on, like, I have 2 TVs set up here. I've got another computer, whatever. I watch them all. But, I mean, I'm not into it. Like I should be more into it too because of the Leafs, but my heart truly is in Pittsburgh.
You know, it's the years that they these past few years where they've made it to the playoffs and then lost in the first round. After that first round, I really don't have much of an interest because I'm so hurt and angry. This year, I don't know. Because maybe they didn't even make it. I don't like I'm just here for the ride. It's like, okay, let's just watch some good hockey. I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, it's the best hockey we're gonna see. Like elimination game hockey is the best.
Oh my
The Stanley Cup
God.
final series is gonna be good.
There is nothing better than NHL playoff hockey. There
No,
is nothing. It is the best thing in sports, folks.
literally.
Come on. I know the ratings suck. I don't care. Everybody should be watching this. This is
Yeah, no,
amazing stuff.
good. Like even like superstars in football and baseball and basketball, they all watch the Stanley Cup playoffs and they rave about it. They're like, this is
There's I don't know if you saw it. It was there was some playoff basketball game going on, and the commentators, like the studio guys, Charles Barkley was like, "Man, this sucks. I want to watch hockey."
I know, I saw it.
That was funny.
Yeah, it's awesome. But even like TJ Watt, he laces up, he plays in a beer league. Like,
oh my God.
They know.
Oh my God. Penguins, get TJ Watt on the team. Could you imagine TJ Watt is like a power forward or something like that? Oh my God.
For beans though. I think he's probably a bender, a little bit of a bender, grinder, whatever they call them.
Oh,
but he'd be good for some.
He would make a great defenseman. He would make oh.
That's what we need. We need an ex-football player to become a defenseman.
That's what they called back in the 90s. That's what they when the Penguins got Ulf Samuelsson. That's what they called him. They called him a linebacker on skates because he would just Ulf would just go out and try to destroy people. Like it was beautiful. So what is your pick? What because we haven't talked in a couple of weeks. What is your pick for?
I didn't even do a bracket this year.
Oh yeah. I just all I did was predict the first round series.
It's gonna be Bruins versus I don't know. How does it work? So would the winner of the Leafs play the winner of the Bruins?
I don't even know. I think they they change it around to give the Bruins the weakest team.
Leafs, Bruins, Rangers, and Hurricanes next round.
Okay.
I don't know who's playing who.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to predict when you don't know.
Right.
Like I said, Oilers, Leafs final. I'm all for it. Minnesota, love Flower. I'd love to see him win. I want him back in Pittsburgh so bad. It's disgusting. But I really want to see Burnsy win. Carolina. I don't know. I can't decide. I didn't make a pick this year. I was just like, it's gonna be Boston, Carolina, or Toronto. I don't even care about the West Side. I don't know, Joe.
All I know is Boston is not winning the cup. That's all I know.
They're good. They're fun to watch, though. They're fun to watch.
They're a machine.
They answer back. Yeah, they're so good. And they're an older team, too. Weren't they the second oldest team in the NHL?
Probably. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you tell me, what's your pick?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be
Toronto.
Yeah, Bruins, Hurricanes, Rangers, and who's the other one?
Leafs.
Who knows? Oh, Leafs. Yeah. Leafs are making it. I think the Leafs.
If they win round one, they're gonna win round two. If they win round two, good chance they could win the third round. I mean, they do seem to get better. They get when they're down, they answer back. They get better. Do I think they're the best team in the NHL? No, I don't. And is Samsonov, capable with? I don't know. They're back.
Imagine a Leafs Rangers Eastern Conference final. Ooh, That'd be
I think that
filthy.
Boston Toronto would be better because there's the rivalry, right?
Boston Toronto would be amazing because then finally Toronto could
Well,
exercise those demons.
I'd love it. I'm there for it. I'd love it.
You know what? Whoever is, I think the West is pretty weak except for Edmonton. Probably whoever wins in the East is probably going to win the cup.
I said that before the playoffs started. It's going to the East.
Yeah, the West is, but if Edmonton, McDavid in the Stanley Cup final, that would be filthy. That would be fun. And an Edmonton Toronto Stanley Cup final,
so bad. And then to watch the ratings drop because no American teams are in it, and I don't care.
Oh my God, that would be 2 Canadian teams. Oh my goodness, that would be funny. Usually those Canadian teams get eliminated. Like, 2 of them going against each other.
I'm ready for it.
That would be amazing. Yeah, I mean, people are complaining that it stinks that Edmonton, like all these Edmonton games are on the West Coast, and the games don't start till 10 p.m. It's like,
boo-hoo. I was a Shark fan and I watched every single one of their games from
There you go.
Fan. No, I understand. Like if you got to get up at like 4 for work and stuff.
Right.
I did it.
Yeah.
That's hockey, baby.
All right. So we will see what happens with the local hockey club, and just I guess all we can do is just wait and see what happens.
Yes, indeed.
All right, buddy. I missed you. It's been good talking to you.
I missed you too.
All right. I'll see you.
We'll talk soon.
Bye.
Ciao.